I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. It. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
All right.
Thing sucks.
There we go. To the 5 of you watching and listening to today's show, thank you. Godspeed. Thank you for making us a destination on a day that no one is going to do any work today. I mean, no one. Hell, I don't want to be here. Jesus. At least there's a TV right here. I'm watching the game. Welcome to one of the greatest, well, I think it could be, you can make an argument, the greatest sports day in all of sports. The first round of the NCAA tournament is underway, and everyone collectively says the same thing. Hate my bracket. And I would agree. I hate my bracket. And no one wants to hear who you have in the Final Four, all right? No one wants to hear it. Welcome in. We, of course, got a great show for you, as we always do, whether we believe it or not, and we tend to tell lies. But, again, we do have a great show for you. Apologies for yesterday. If you missed us, we missed you, okay? But we're glad to be back here on a Thursday. And hopefully you checked out the Divish stuff from yesterday as well. He was great. And we had him on Tuesday, but we put it back out there on Wednesday. Thursday's show, here's what's on tap. This is what you get today. A few minutes, we'll be joined by Everett Fitzhugh, the full Fitz, as he joins us to break down the Kraken 15 games remaining in their season as they continue to push for the playoffs. Of course, it's another visit with Mitch Levy, KJ-Arent. And, of course, we play the entire KJ-Arent during the live daily puck drop. Once it's over, only way you can access it is if you are a Pucks Posse member. We do give a, KJ-Arent light version coming out later today for all the podcasts, but the full version only available for Pucks Posse members. Go to pucksports.com, sign up there, or you can become a Posse member by, if you're streaming the show, clicking on the QR code that is on your screen. And then an old friend is coming back, Jerry Brewer. And we have not talked to Jerry since he has made the transition to The Athletic from the Washington Post. He got out just in time before the Post made all their changes, but Jerry obviously probably could see the writing on the wall. All right, as always, and we're going to talk about NBA Commissioner Adam Silver is going to have a conversation again with Bob Ferguson, our governor, coming up on Monday. And again, next week is a huge day for the NBA and the return here to Seattle because they'll meet Tuesday and Wednesday in New York City. We'll have more details on that here in just a moment. As always, we come via the Limback Lumber Studios. Limback Lumber, Matt Paul, Mark, the entire crew there at Limback Lumber. We could not do this daily without their support. So big thanks to Limback Lumber. Thank you so much. They got free deliveries, everything from whole house packages to homeowner do-it-yourself projects, the largest stock moldings in the Northwest. Ladies and gentlemen, they've got old school service. Why? Because they've been doing it since 1930. Give them a call, 206-782-3487. Visit limbacklumber.com. Be like the friend of the show, Smokey McPot. Yes, we actually have someone that listens and watches to this show from the old radio days, has made the transition, made the switch over here, and his name is Smokey McPot. And Smokey was there yesterday buying some lumber and sent me a bunch of pictures of him there at Limback Lumber. So when you go there, tell them you heard it from Puck, and they will take care of you. Again, as always, you can follow the social media channels, Puck Sports everywhere. TikTok is Puck_sports if you want to follow there. And as I mentioned before, pucksports.com is the website. You can sign up there to become a Pucks Posse member. All right. Bob Ferguson our governor is going to sit down with Adam Silver on Monday. We don't know what the content of this conversation is going to be, what it's going to be directed at. Who knows? Could just be, hey, let's catch up before we have our official meetings there Tuesday and Wednesday. And again, for anybody that's on the fence of whether or not this is a big deal that's happening next week, it is a big deal. It's a big deal because what they are going to vote on, what they're going to push forward, and you're going to hear this coming up a little bit later when we have Jerry Brewer on, is they're not only just putting expansion forward that it's going to be on the table, we're going to vote on this summer. It's 2 teams. It's 2 cities. That's it. There's no Mexico City. Sorry, Stephen A. Smith. It's not Nashville. It's none of these other teams that have been mentioned when it's come to expansion. This is about Seattle, and this is about Las Vegas. One thing that Jerry and I have talked about in the past, and we'll talk about it again coming up a little bit later on the show, is why does Seattle need to be tied with Las Vegas? Because Seattle is by far and away ahead of any project in Las Vegas. If you weren't following the news, LeBron James and his group have basically pulled out of doing anything there. They have been long rumored to being the group that was going to bring the NBA to Vegas, but there appears to be done. I don't know what. Maybe it's the price tag, $7 to $10 billion. Maybe I don't know if there's many rumors about moving anybody. I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly who's going to be the owner there, but they don't have an arena right now. They have multiple arenas. They could probably play at all of T-Mobile and all that, unless someone wants to come in and build a new one. But it was the Lewicki group that was going to try and build a new arena there. And I'll be honest with you, I've lost track. It's like 9. There's like 8 arenas down there. It was kind of ridiculous. They need to build a new one. That is the one holdup in all of this, and we'll see if it becomes a factor. Maybe it won't. It's just waiting for Las Vegas. But Monday is a big day. Again, you got the governor getting to meet with the commissioner. It's whatever they're going to talk about. Who knows? But it's a step in the right direction. And be excited about it. I've heard this. Well, people aren't that excited about it. I'll be honest with you. Maybe I keep company with different people, but the people that I keep company with are very excited about the Sonics coming back. I can't speak for other shows or other places that are poo-pooing this. I don't know. I really don't listen, so I can't get a vibe on what other people are saying or how it's being portrayed elsewhere. But I don't know. Here I'm excited. The people that I talk to are excited. And I think, and we'll say this again, I think even the people that have been on the fence are not excited about it, once it comes back are going to be all in. And, this thought process about the game, it's different, it's changed. Well, yeah, of course it's different, it's changed. Are there great things about the game? Of course. Are there things about the game that bother you and annoy you? Of course. There's plenty of things. I mean, I think the load management, all that issue of it, that's troublesome. They need to figure that out. You know what, though? You can pick apart every sport, that there's a problem with every sport. There's a problem with baseball. The football, despite being the greatest, most popular game that we have, there are issues with football. There's going to be issues with every single sport. But in terms of the players, the athleticism, and the play, it's not even comparable to when we had the team here last. It's just not. I mean, they've got I'm watching the game last night, Lakers in Houston, and I'm watching a 37-year-old Kevin Durant still running up and down the court, making plays like he was 27. LeBron James, whatever the hell he's on, he's running up and down the court, looks as good as he was when he was in his mid-20s. The other night, you got Victor Wembanyama's playing the Blazers, and he does things on the court that are not playing. He was playing the Clippers. He's doing things on the court that you just shouldn't be able to do. He's 7'6", 7'7". He's unbelievable. And he's a 2-guard. It didn't have that back when the Sonics were playing here. There's nobody like that. So for all those who want to, always criticize the sports, that's not the same. It's not the same. It's better. The players are better. They just are. There just is you cannot dispute that. The talent level of these players are better than when the players played in 2008. It's the way it is. And you know what? When those players were playing in 2008, they were better than the ones that played in 1978. The way the sport is and the way that it evolves. So the Bob Ferguson, again, meeting with Adam Silver Monday. Then the owners meet at the Regis. It's a fancy hotel in New York City. Tuesday, Wednesday, where they will vote to push expansion through. to open it up to bidders. And you're talking about two cities in Seattle and Las Vegas. And then, as we had Tim Booth on last week, they're going to hold a vote there probably in July and get the party started. And you can really start daydreaming about that mock draft that we went over the other day. The fact that Kevin Durant will be a free agent in 2028. I guarantee you everything that Kevin Durant is going to stick around to play his final year in Seattle and retire as a Sonic. I would put everything I have, and that's like $10 in my bank account on that he's going to remain in the NBA. All right, we've got another edition of KJ-Arent's coming up a little bit later in the program. We also got Jerry Brewer, the Athletic, coming on there as well. But every Thursday for the rest of the season, we are catching up with our good friend, Everett Fitzhugh, the voice of the Seattle Kraken, the one and only Everett Fitzhugh, who's on a long road trip right now. I mean, the Kraken start a long road trip tonight. They're in Nashville, 10 days, 6 cities. I mean, they're all over the place. Still fighting for that playoff spot. They're in it right now. Season's winding down, 15 games to go. But every Thursday through the end of the season, we get the full Fitz with Everett Fitzhugh.
Drink Georgetown Tavern Beer. Your new, locally brewed, domestic-style lager. 4.2% alcohol. Cheap, good, local.
Physical nature. Now the Kraken break it back in. Here's Beniers down the slot, near side. Everly scores! Oh, Captain, my Captain!
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. He's back. Always got a smile on your face. You know that? You're always happy. Yeah. It's the full Fitz with Everett Fitzhugh, your voice of your Seattle Kraken, back with us here on the Daily Puck Drop. He's with us every week talking Kraken hockey, and he's going to be living out of a suitcase forever.
Yep.
I mean, there's road trips, but this is a road trip, Everett.
Yeah, 6 games, 10 days. So it's a 5-game road trip. So we go Nashville, Columbus, Florida, Tampa, Buffalo. We come home for a day. So next Sunday, so a week from this Sunday, we come home, and then we leave Monday to go to Edmonton. So it's like, you don't want to spend 2 days in Edmonton. I get it. So we're gonna come home, do some laundry. I will play hockey in the driveway with my son, and then get back on the bird and head to Edmonton.
I cannot imagine trying to pack that long for something that long with all the different outfits you got to have.
That's the annoying part too, is usually, I mean, we're used to long trips. Long trips are nothing. But when you're going from Nashville, Columbus, where it's going to be 50s, 60s, then you go to Miami, or Tampa and Fort Lauderdale, essentially Miami, you're going to be 82. And then you go to Buffalo, where at least as of right now, it's going to be 30 degrees next week. Like, I'm looking at my suitcase over there right now, and I packed like every pair of clothing that I had 4 seasons in my bag over there.
That's amazing. All right. Since last time we spoke, they're still in the second playoff spot. They've gone 2-2 since we last talked. It was, they had wins sandwiched in between there, but it's bookended by a loss to Colorado. And then they're Tampa, right? But in between Vancouver and Florida.
Yep.
What the last week they're hanging on. There's 15 games left. They're inching toward the finish line.
Yeah.
But this last week, how would you sum it up?
I would say that Bobby McMann really helped. I mean, he's got points in each of his 3 games played with the Kraken, 4 goals and 2 assists. I thought that offensively they picked up a lot of things that they'd been lacking. We talked so much. This team talked so much about shooting the puck and driving the net and not being so selective, with their shots. But the last week we've seen a lot of that. But then also you run into 2 really strong teams in Tampa and Colorado. And after the Colorado game, Lane Lambert was asked by the media, if he felt that there was a little bit too much respect given to the Avalanche, which I respect that question. I mean, listen, we all know that the Avalanche are the Vegas odds-on favorite to win the whole thing. clicking, and they've been the best team in the league pretty much since day one. And there, he felt that there was a little bit too much respect given to the Avalanche. And then you have Tampa, which very similarly to Colorado, they've got a lot of offensive firepower. They've got Nikita Kucherov, who was in the middle of his fourth consecutive 100-point season. And, Lane Lambert said it, and I agree with him. The Kraken didn't play a bad game against Tampa. They just made mistakes, and every single mistake end up in the back of their net. I mean, literally, there's 3 turnovers behind the goal in which the Kraken are trying to break the puck out, and Tampa challenges. They steal the puck. It's in by Grubauer. There's a play up the wall. Kraken tried to get out of the zone. It was hemmed in the zone, and then not 5 seconds later, it ends up in the back of their net. So if you go back and watch that game against Tampa, it wasn't a terrible game despite the score. It's just that good teams like Tampa, they don't need a whole lot of room to sneak through the open door, and they capitalized on literally every single mistake the Kraken made.
Yeah, but that's what separates in all sports,
Exactly.
right? The good teams from the great teams, right?
Exactly.
Is they maximize on all those mistakes that other teams make.
They do. And when you're a team like Seattle, we talk so much about how this team doesn't have the firepower. They don't have, that superstar, which historically the Kraken have proven that they've done well with their depth, right? But when you're a team that works hard, like the Kraken do, you sometimes can fall into that speed trap. And I think that's what happened with Tampa and Colorado. You got a couple of teams that are a bit quicker than you. You have 2 teams that, have that superstar, that firepower that you maybe don't have. And then Seattle, unfortunately, got taken advantage of, because of that. Nikita Kucherov's got 5-point night for Tampa. You know what I mean? Like that's, you're right. It separates the good teams from the great teams. It separates the first round playoff team from a championship team. So those are the things the Kraken have to clean up here moving forward.
The instant impact of Bobby McMann. I mean, it was right away.
Yeah.
I still don't understand why it took him so long to get with the team. I'm sure the team doesn't understand that in this day and age where you would think this would be pretty rubber stamped, but that's in the past. He's with them now. What does, besides just the obvious, he just looks different almost than everyone else, but as a whole, the difference that he brings to this Kraken team is what?
He brings a lot of speed. He brings a willingness to shoot the puck. He brings a willingness to go to the net. Bobby McMann is described as a player. He's a very low maintenance player. He doesn't need a whole lot. He doesn't want for a whole lot. He just wants to go out and play hockey. And I know that sounds very cliche, but you put him on the top line. He's a skilled player, and you put him with other skilled players in Matty Beniers and Jordan Eberle, you're going to get magic happening, right? And you're seeing that now with him. He was in a middle 6 role with the Toronto Maple Leafs. So you're on a team with John Tavares and Austin Matthews and William Nylander and great players like that. Well, now you come to Seattle and you have an opportunity to pretty much, have your own team, right? You can star on that top line. And we're seeing what he's capable of here in Seattle. So it's anytime you make a trade, and this, having covered sports for so long, anytime that you make a trade, you bring new blood into the lineup, you're going to get that shot in the arm. You're going to get that jolt. And right now, the Kraken are getting that jolt, and I'm curious to see how long it's going to last. The way that Bobby McMann plays, he is very capable of putting up points in just about every game he plays. The way that the system is for the Kraken and the way that he fits into this system nicely, he can put up points just about every night. So I'm curious to see if there's going to be the honeymoon period with McMann, or is he just going to continue scoring points and scoring goals, which I think he's going to do. He's got 4 goals and 2 assists in his first 3 games with Seattle, and he's showing no signs of slowing down.
It's cool when you see this in sports all the time, right? Guys that are backups not getting roles or opportunities on different teams because the talent is so good, and then they go to a new team and then that doesn't have as much talent, right, as the previous team. And then it just kind of frees them up.
Yeah.
It frees them up and they become the player. And then the other team goes, God, how come we didn't see that? I mean, it happens. It happens all the time, and it's great to see him take advantage of his opportunity, because if he does take advantage of this, I mean, there's bigger and better things ahead for him moving forward.
Well, and there is, right? He's a UFA at the end of the season, so he's a free agent. He can go wherever he wants. Obviously, the hope and the plan is to re-sign him back here, but he's got to want to stay here, and which is number one. But I do think that for a player like him and the roster as is constructed right now for Seattle, there is a lot of opportunity and a lot of ice time available for Bobby McMann, in the future, should he choose to stay.
All right, they're banged up, right? And we know the situation there with Schwartz. We know he's out. What's going on with Tolvanen? What's his status for this trip, you think?
Tolvanen is on the trip. I saw him on the plane yesterday, so he is here with the team. It was a scary hit the other night where he hit his head on the ice, and but I saw him. He looked fine. He was laughing, joking, being his normal Ellie Tolvanen self. So that's a good sign. For me anyway. Jaden Schwartz is not on the trip, and we talked about it last week a little bit. He's out indefinitely, and indefinitely to me says probably the end of the regular season. Again, we've gotten no official word on that. But other than that, I mean, everyone we're in this kind of remarkable health window. I mean, the Kraken were banged up for most of the first 50 games of the year. I think it took until game 52 for Seattle to have a full, healthy complement of players. So the team a little banged up, like we talked about, but overall they're fine, and they should have everybody available outside of Schwartz, and then Tolvanen when he comes back. He is on the trip, but we should have everybody available for these games.
When you look at Everett big picture for this road trip, obviously I'd say what are the keys? The keys are wins, but beyond that, right? Peel the layers away of what the keys are as they start off to go Nashville, Columbus, Florida, Tampa Bay, Buffalo, Edmonton, before they come all the way home to face finally Utah on April 2nd.
Yeah, I mean, on this road trip, these 6 games, you've got 12 points. So for me, I'm looking at 8. I mean, that's got to be the bare minimum, 8 points. And it sounds very cliche, but you need to start doing what has made you successful. This is one of the hardest working teams in the NHL. Teams will tell you, man, the Kraken work hard. They make you earn every bit of ice time, every inch of ice as an opponent. I stopped in and listened to John Cooper, the head coach of the Lightning, the other night in his post-game media, and he said pretty much the same thing. He was like, man, that is a really hard-working team over there, and this was the best game that we've played in quite some time, and we had to be good because Seattle is good in their own right. So I think for the Kraken, Nashville, you need to win that game. Edmonton, you've not had a lot of success in that building. I think historically, if you include the preseason, Kraken have won twice in Edmonton, I want to say. So you got to win that game at Edmonton. You've already beaten Florida. You'd love some payback from Colorado or from Tampa. And now Buffalo is no longer a guaranteed win because they're on their second 8-9 game point streak of the season. So, I mean, it's simple hockey. It's got to be simple hockey for this week here coming up, 2 weeks coming up. And you got to get points. I mean, you need, like I said, 8 points for me as a minimum for this team.
What's the total at the end of the year points that is kind of the marker they need to get to get into the playoffs? Yeah,
I think I was reading the other day. I think it's going to look like 90 points, 88, 91. That should get you in the playoffs, especially out here in the West where it's wide open. In the Pacific Division, the leading team in the Pacific Division is still 3 points back of a playoff spot out east. So no team in the Pacific is a playoff team in the Eastern Conference. So it's a really weird year for the Kraken or for the NHL rather this season with all of the condensed games. And so that's going to be, I think, the big factor for Seattle. Like right now, Anaheim's at 78 points in the division and the Red Wings are at 82. So 4 points. They're back 4 points in the playoffs. playoffs out east are Anaheim. So the division's up for grabs. A playoff spot's up for grabs. They woke up this morning still in a playoff spot. Now they want to try to keep it with a win tonight.
Okay, who's your team? NCAA tournament gets underway today. Who is it?
I'm going Big Blue. Give me Michigan.
Oh,
Give me
the
Michigan.
old Wolverines. Yeah, the best team money can buy.
Yep. And I will say I got to show some love for my Mid-American Conference rival, the Miami Redhawks. I thought they were going to be dumb and leave them out. The MAC deserved 2 bids. You know, I was so annoyed last year. Bowling Green baseball had one of their best seasons ever. They were like 38-5 or whatever it is. They lost in the MAC championship and they didn't make the tournament. And then I'm like, why do you play the games, right? Like why did I just spend 6 months training and playing regular season baseball for me to lose in game 3 of the MAC tournament and now I don't get to go? So I was a little bitter last year, but I'm hoping that Miami of Ohio can pull off some UBMC or UMBC, some Davidson, Steph Curry magic this year and win a couple of games and put the MAC on the board again.
It's the best time of year with all the sports, hockey and the NCAA and baseball. Golf, the Masters is next month. That's just all of it. Ladies and gentlemen, you can follow him on social media. The voice Fitz. He is the voice of your Seattle Kraken. He is Everett Fitzhugh, living out of a
clamshell
travel bag and just a suitcase here for the next 10 days. All right, Everett, we'll see you next week. Thank you, sir.
All right, brother. Take care.
If it's fun you desire, it's fun you're going to get at Flat Stick Pub. It doesn't matter what the occasion is, whether it's date night, guys night, ladies night, or large group event, Flat Stick Pub's got you covered. They have 6 great locations across the Pacific Northwest, from Pioneer Square to Kirkland, South Lake Union, Spokane, Bellingham, and Redmond. All locations offer the best pub experience in Washington. 2 rules at Flat Stick Pub: drink local and have fun. Pretty simple. So if you like to have fun, love local beer, and great tasting food, make Flat Stick Pub your next spot. Visit them at flatstickpub.com. All right, I'm gonna start off with rehashing something from last week. Okay, Mitch Levy here on another episode of KJ-Arent here on the Daily Puck Drop, and I'm gonna quote, "Bro, I got shingles twice from the stress of that show, all bottled up."
Are we doing that? Are we doing that?
So I'm just saying that I didn't misconstrued anything.
I didn't say you misconstrued anything. I'll share with you the text from the same person that sent you that. What he
So it's this person. He's talking out both sides of his mouth.
I can't speak for him. I'll just tell you what he wrote me. He wrote me. When was this? Last week. I got to go.
Last week.
I got to go. You didn't prepare me for this.
I know. I want you to know.
No, good. I can't find it. I shared it with you. He wrote to me. Oh, here it is. He wrote to me, "For the record, I didn't blame you for the shingles. It was more a commentary on how Puck and Stretch said I didn't get stressed about anything. And I texted Jason and said I got shingles twice while working on the show, but I'm not sure working a second job and having 2 kids didn't contribute to the shingles."
That's bad. That's backtracking on his part. Backtracking on his part. All right, well.
Got him to blame, not me. I don't.
All right, well. You don't have to pay the medical bills and all the PTSD he probably has. All bottled up.
It wasn't that hard to work on our show, by the way, was it?
No, I don't think so. Well, you know what? I'd say he did a good job of covering it up. I would never have known he was ever stressed out or ever dealt with shingles. Here, let me ask you something. I know you're not a doctor. None of us are. How do you know someone has shingles? What are the signs or symptoms of shingles? Honestly, I don't know.
Oh,
is there a physical sign?
Yeah, shingles is like a breakout.
Like a you get a rash.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, like the most painful rash that never goes away.
You get it on your arms and face?
I think you get it on your sides mostly, but it can go. No, I don't think it goes on your face. And you're obviously not old enough yet to have had the shingles vaccine. How old are you? Are you
50?
Okay, you're going to have the shingles vaccine any day now. You're going to be told by your, if you have one, you have a doctor that's willing to see you. He's going to tell you, or she's going to tell you, She's going to tell you you're going to get 2 shots. One, and then you wait a while, and then you get another one. And these, by the way, are the most painful, not when you get them, but these are the ones, these shingle shots are no picnic. You walk away like your arm doesn't work for like a week.
Like the tetanus shot. The tetanus shot's kind of like that, right?
Yeah, this is worse than a tetanus shot.
Oh, well, that's great. Can't look forward to that.
A couple of shingles vaccines and you're all set.
What is it like when you get 50, you're more prone to get shingles or something in your older age? What brings it on?
Yeah.
Isn't it stress?
No, I don't think so. I think it's what are you asking me for?
I don't know. I thought maybe you would know.
This is not supposed to be what this show is all about.
I don't know.
Nobody comes to the KJ-Arents for a shingles conversation. What's wrong with you?
You never know. There might be somebody in our audience right now who's like, you know what? I've been wondering the same question all along about shingles.
There's probably a doctor listening saying this whole nonsense that Mitch gave the guy shingles because of stress is probably medically an impossibility. I think it's based on your DNA and how you're wired. It's not stress related, the shingles.
What do you think the most, if I'll get into sports, what do you think Cal Raleigh will look back and say, boy, my most memorable moment in the WBC was?
Oh, my God. Okay, so
do you think if he knew now how this was all going to unfold, if you told Cal Raleigh before he signed up, when he got the phone call from Team USA, all right, you can say, yeah, if you say yes, but this is what's going to happen. Do you think Cal would say, I'm good, I'll tap out. I don't want to sign up for
I'm going to give you an answer to a totally unrelated question because I didn't really follow it. I hardly watched the WBC.
Really?
Earlier today, I recorded my weekly segment with Danny O'Neill, Ring the Bell. And I'm going to tell you, if you listen to it, you will actually hear an uncomfortable conversation. It's the first ever uncomfortable conversation I've ever had with Danny on the radio or on the podcast. He was genuinely pissed off at me. I mean, and you could hear it. I was like, oh, my God. He's like totally offended by my remark. I made the remark that I watched a few of the games. It didn't really mean all that much to me. And he asked why, Danny did, and I gave him my answer, which he thought was the worst answer I could possibly get. He was damn mad. You can hear it you know how sometimes when people aren't joking around, kidding, and they're angry on the radio or on a show, you can actually sense the tension. I was like, oh my God, this is going down a path I don't even want to go. And then it got better later on in the show. Got better. But
was it because Cody Bellinger wasn't playing for Israel or?
No, I just said to him, he said, why aren't you into it? And I said to him that I've never really gotten the sense that it was all that important to the American baseball public. It doesn't feel like it's important. I hear about pitchers that pitch and then they don't want to pitch again and then they leave the team. I hear about other guys that pass on even going to the team. And he was trying to tell me that it should be as emotional as the United States hockey team or the United States soccer team. And it's not. It's not for me because I don't get the sense that they care all that. Now, obviously, the guys on the team care.
Sure.
But I don't know. People are not playing because they don't want to risk injuries. It feels more important to all the other countries than it does to us.
Well, that 100%. I mean, that's obvious. Just watch how they react to it. Watch the fans. Watch how they interact with each other. I mean, and it's weird because if you watch the hockey in the Olympics and you watch the men's and women's teams play, they look like Venezuela or the Dominican or these other teams and how they reacted to all of it.
Right.
But this baseball team didn't. I don't know why. I mean, I just think there were so many things that happened during it that just gave you a window into maybe how you feel. And I don't want to rehash the exact show that you and Danny did, but Bryce Harper's comments in the beginning of it, if you paid attention, like, hey, this is not as big as the Olympics. We're all thinking about the Olympics. So then people are already like, well, do you really want to be there? And now to Bryce Harper's credit, he did look like he wanted to be there. He played like he wanted to be there.
I think they all did. Didn't they pretty much all did?
I think I just think it's maybe American baseball players just don't play with that type of emotion that guys in Venezuela do, or the Dominican, or these other countries. They just don't.
Can't answer.
It's not in their DNA. Now, the guy, I don't know if you guys talked about this, but the guy that I have my crosshairs, and I'm a big fan of his, but I just think I'm out. I'm out on Tarek Skubal. Out.
No. You've been out on Tarek Skubal for at least a year.
Well, yes, I was out on how he.
Don't start with me like you. This is a new thing.
But now I'm really out.
You hate Tarek Skubal.
You
don't think he has any fire, and he gives the ball up.
Give me an example that he does.
That's fine. But he pitched it. In fact,
Seattle Bannerwood Park. We've got to love him because he pitched at Bannerwood. But
Park.
This is a guy that he pulls himself out of. Well, and he didn't pull himself out, but allows himself to be taken out of an elimination game.
I'm going to say,
and then signs up for this WBC, and then pulls out, and then I want to be back in, and then pulls out again.
It's and that's part of what I was trying to communicate to Danny, that you can try to figure out how I get this message, and maybe it's unfair for me to tell you that I get this message. I have a feeling somehow, some way, somebody has communicated a feeling to me that it's not all that important to the United States baseball public. It's more important to the Dominican. It's more important to Venezuela, that we don't really care all that much. And part of it is Tarek Skubal leaving the team, coming back to the team, Brian Wu passing on pitching for the team. It just,
Logan Gilbert passed.
Okay, for whatever reason, Mitch Levy has gotten the feeling that and so because of that, I don't find myself like destination programming. I got to see I didn't see one pitch of the championship game. I didn't watch. I heard all about it. I saw the highlights. I would have liked for the Americans to win. I just wasn't really into it all that much. Maybe it's because I've got 162 of these things getting ready to happen and where I'm going to live and die on every pitch, and I just can't get into the whole all-star team playing against other. I don't know. I can't. Maybe it's too new of an event. I just couldn't get into it, and it led to a clear problem between Danny and me. And at one point, I was like, "Is he going to quit like the show? Like is he not going to do next week's show?" He was mad.
This is a hell of a. No one knows me. All right, once this is over during the live daily puck drop, the only place to watch, listen to it, Mitch Unfiltered patron, MitchUnfiltered.com, or a Puck's Posse member, PuckSports.com.
Who do you have winning it all?
I'm going with your son's team with his shirt off, with his beer. Your son is going to have his shirt off after they cut down the nets with a 100-foot beer bong hanging from his fraternity's balcony.
The exacta of my life would be Tommy Lloyd cutting the nets down 2 weeks after the Weasel lost to Kennesaw State University in front of my eye. Kennesaw State's going to give Gonzaga a game, and you're going to be thinking of me somewhere in that arena. Mitch Levy right now is going crazy rooting for Kennesaw State. I am going to be loud. I'm going to be vocal. I don't even know who they are. I know they are outside of Atlanta is all I know. Don't know the nickname of the team.
Paint your face.
I'm painting my face with a big K. Big K.
You want excellence in dining? Visit John Howie's Steak and experience premier Northwest dining. Prime custom-aged steaks, award-winning wine, unmatched level of service. You won't be disappointed. Make your next reservation today at johnhowiesteak.com. The sweet sounds of the music that is just our pastime. It's everything. It feels good. It's a warm glass of milk. It's the NCAA tournament. Of course, it gets underway today. It's going on right now as we speak. And ladies and gentlemen, apparently he's been kicked out of his house. I don't know where he's at, but he's actually, no. He's in Portland, Oregon. It's the laugh. You hear it. It's the one and only. You see the beautiful face. It is Jerry Brewer of a new place now, The Athletic. Everybody is working for The Athletic, and The Athletic will let you know. They've got a deal. You can sign up today and get probably a percentage off, but wait till tomorrow because you'll get another percentage off. There's always that's the thing I love about the Athletic. There's always a deal, Jerry. There's always a deal.
There's always a deal, but don't let people in on that. I need my salary to be paid.
Well, I want to say congratulations on the new job. And I mean congratulations, but there's a lot to unpack how you ended up there at the Athletic. But let's just start there first, and then we can talk about what's going on down there in Portland. You're covering the NCAA tournament. Lots of news coming here in Seattle. Let's take a step back. The Athletic. How did we land at the Athletic now?
Well, I originally turned down the Athletic in August, and I wanted to stay and enhance my role at the Washington Post. But over the next couple of months, I realized something was off. Like it was a really bad feeling. And so just before the holidays hit, I kind of sent word to a couple friends at the Athletic, hey, I might have made a mistake here. And
I'd like a mulligan. I'd like to come.
And then little did I know they were talking to the bosses and they put the deal back together, and then I was gone. Like the day after Thanksgiving was my last day at the Post, which was one of the weirdest days in my career.
Because you and I have talked about this before. That was one of your career goals, was to work there. For a lot of journalists, was to work at the Washington Post.
Yeah, I considered it beyond a dream job to work at the Post, to have the same job that Tony Kornheiser, Michael Wilbon, Shirley Povich, if you really know the old school sports columnist.
Yeah.
Like so many of my heroes in this industry held that job. And if you would have talked to me like a year ago, I would have told you I'll never leave the Washington Post. But things have changed the way that Bezos wants to run that operation, both editorially and financially. So I had to bounce.
How hard? Now, you got out before all those layoffs happened. You obviously probably could see the writing on the wall. I mean, you could see what was probably going to happen. Probably not to that degree, though, of what they did and how much they gutted it.
Yeah, I thought, you're talking about they shuttered the entire sports section. There's 3 people who remain. Now there's 1 person who remained because the Athletic took 2 of them, Adam Kilgore and Ava Wallace. I thought maybe worst case scenario, there was like 40 something people who worked in sports. I was like, all right, well, maybe they'll go down to 20 and just half it and try to do something different. I didn't know that they would just decide that they didn't want to cover sports anymore, it's crazy. Like, I know when you think about the Washington Post, you think politics, you think Woodward and Bernstein and all of that. But the Washington Post has had, in terms of newspapers, I believe one of the greatest sports sections in the history. The Boston Globe would argue, and maybe like the LA Times in its heyday. But I think in terms of just sustained excellence, nobody measured up with the Post. And it was like being in a journalism museum, working there every day.
It's interesting. You'll remember this because you're old as dirt like I am. There used to be this website. Now, this is before paywalls. This is for all the paywalls, and which again is a good thing. I think you want people to make money. They're putting out a product called Sports Pages USA. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And so for people who don't remember this was what I love this place. It took every newspaper from across the country and was on this one website. And I don't think you even paid. Maybe you did pay for it or not. I don't know if you did or not. But back then, I think it was all just free. And at every sports section from every newspaper, and I'd go through it all the time. I'd read the Post and the LA Times and just everything. It was the best because there wasn't the internet was a thing, but it wasn't like it is today. And there weren't all these, like an Athletic where you had reporters in each city, on one website. So you had to go. If I wanted to find out what was happening with, the Washington Redskins at the time, I went to the Washington Post to find out, exactly what was taking place. So
I loved it. They had every sports columnist in America listed on one page.
Yep.
You could just click on the link.
Yeah.
And they also had a message board, which I hated, because people talk junk. I remember once when I left the Philadelphia Inquirer early in my career.
Another great paper.
To go to the Orlando Sentinel. And everybody was shocked that I decided to do that. And then people on that message board was like, Brewer left because he doesn't like traveling.
Well, I mean,
I don't like traveling. I don't like traveling. Are you kidding me?
But it's Jerry, it's, both you and I, you've done it on a more serious note of journalism, but going to journalism school and growing up and having an appreciation and love for, print and broadcast and all that. I mean, the landscape of this has changed so much. I mean, I still get a daily Seattle Times and I enjoy reading it. Now, 90% of the stories I've already read because I've seen them online, but I do like going through the paper still. I really love the sports section when we're getting into the season we're about to get into. And baseball, people say, you could just look at the box scores on your phone. I know that. Thank you. I get that. But there's just something different for me that I like looking at a box score on a printed newspaper.
Oh, I do too. And I miss like when sections had robust agate pages, so you could look at like all of the stats from everyone, and that's how I would track things. It's different online, and I feel like my eyes, like I'm losing my eyesight, like staring at these blue light, in the screen all of the time. But baseball is one of those. I want to go on the journey with the team. Yeah, and I need Adam Jude, and I need Ryan Divish when he actually works.
It's rare.
And I need Tim Booth. I need them. They're critical to my daily experience watching the Mariners.
Well, I really do. I love all the work you guys do at The Athletic. I'm so glad you joined that team. It's just a great website. It's terrific. There's so many great local and national people there. It almost is in a Sports Pages USA in a way, because you can go and access all these different columnists and writers and reporters from across the country. So a good move for you. Congratulations on that.
You.
I'm sad about the Washington Post. I'm sad about all journalism right now that's going on. It's not what it used to be. It's an important tool. And you thought you had somebody who took over that newspaper with, of course, all the wealth in the world, didn't need to gut anything. And it's unfortunate that things like this happen. Before we move on to sports, I do want to know from your perspective, though, like, covering sports, watching sports, consuming sports now. I mean, how much, so when you started to where it is now, how much has it changed for you? For the better and then for the worse?
Well, I mean, for the better, I do think it's better that there are more people in the industry who are more in the analysis realm. Like, we're all like, those of us who are used to locker rooms, used to talking to coaches, managers, players, all of that, we're pretty good in the reporting realm. But we also have relationships that we don't want to, attack with a sledgehammer and all of that. And I don't know if we protect guys, but we are mindful of these things. And I do think that, it started with blogs, and now it's just more just personalities, and you find them wherever they are. They're really good at saying, like, hey, this, don't listen to what Dan Wilson is saying right now. He's just being too nice, right? Like, this is a real problem here, right? And like, because they've studied it, like, from a statistical analysis standpoint or just a historical standpoint, they're really able to break down and tell you, what's about to happen with your team. So I think there's the depth of conversation in sports right now is better than it's ever been. What I don't like is the relationships are almost non-existent, and I think it's really, really hard in the college sports realm to build any kind of relationships with players or coaches. And I don't cover that much college sports for that reason. And I think I need to kind of check myself and realize, like, hey, I am back in Seattle around familiar people that I've known for decades, and I should probably engage more with them. But I kind of need, like, the damn Huskies, the damn Cougs, to be good and nationally relevant. So, like, if they can help me out with that would help.
Get over there. Make a trip over to God's country. I'll take you along for the ride. I'll point out all the sights and scenes. Write a column on. You would be the perfect person to write this. The son coming home. Kirby Moore raised. This is a story for Jerry Brewer and The Athletic. raised in Prosser, Washington, son of a legendary football coach, Tom Moore. I mean, the guy is like the Mount Rushmore of college coaches. Prosser's the size of your neighborhood. I mean, it's tiny. and what came out of there are these great football minds and fabulous wine. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's like the two of the greatest things. And I think it'd be a great season and for the Cougs. But, college football, college athletics is just so different now, right? It's just it's like hard for me. You're down in Portland, right, covering the NCAA tournament. Yep. Today is like a holiday for us. And I'm still excited about today and tomorrow and what we're going to get here in the next 2 weeks. But I'm not as excited as I once was because I don't know any of these guys. I can't tell you no one. I'm being honest. Very few names in college basketball, other than the ones that we all know and should know. But you start, getting down to the nitty gritty because I just haven't watched these guys for 3 years play. They've bounced around all these different programs, and now there's some of them on their third or fourth program. Great, good for them, but there's no continuity. There's no relationship. I think the sports fan, right, Jerry's built up with these teams. No more equity anymore.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, what about the days when a great freshman recruiting class would come in and it would be like, all right, well, they're going to suck year one. They're going to be average year two. They're going to make the tournament and maybe lose early year three. And in year four, we're going to kick everybody's ass, right? Like, you just don't get that anymore. Now it's like, if you don't get things done in year one, they're going to go somewhere else. Or a lot of times the coaches don't want them to stay. Like they are big instigators of this year to year thing. Like they don't want to sit and develop people. And what does that do for the sports viewer, the sports fan? It makes everything transactional. And I think that's the worst thing you can do for a sports fan, because then you start looking around and you realize, like, I spent how much time on this? I spent how much money on this? Maybe I should scale back. And like the things that just kind of subliminally attach us to these teams, they're just eroding and tearing things apart, whether it's transfer portal, whether it's having to hear about NIL, whether it's having to hear about broken NIL deals. But then also they're just like, hey, that rivalry that you love, that you live for, we're going to fundamentally change that. If not play it at all.
Yeah. That's the problem. I mean, the Apple Cup is still being played, but you got the Civil War. You got Oregon State. They're not playing for 2 years. This is a rivalry that's gone on for 100+ years. And so it's unfortunate. It's a great line about watching these guys develop as freshmen and seeing them, when they be juniors and seniors. I've said this to maybe on a couple different shows, but in my first introduction to one of my favorite college basketball players of all time, was it during the NCAA tournament. Because one, they weren't on TV a bunch during the season, a few times, and maybe I didn't watch it, but was Kenny Anderson, Georgia Tech, when he was a freshman. And he burst onto the scene, and that was a great team with with Dennis Scott and Brian Oliver, but the story was Kenny Anderson. And then their head coach, Bobby Cremins, because he had just completely white hair and it was a great look. But Kenny Anderson was the story. And he went on fire as a freshman in the NCAA tournament. And then I just couldn't wait for the next year and the next year to watch him play. And that's gone. I think of, Washington's got that fabulous the freshman forward that most likely will go to the NBA. Ace Glass is at Washington State. He's not going to stay there. He's gone. He's going to go get, money elsewhere. So I think the sports viewer, the fan, right, what you said, it loses that connection with that athlete and that team for years to come.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't get to see the best of them. And everything seems like it's a farm system for someone else.
Right.
And a lot of times the decisions that kids make are illogical. Like, you were fine at the school that you were at, but you're going somewhere else and a lot of times it's not even the kid that's making the deal, right? Like, it's not even the agent that's making a deal. It's like your uncle. And all of a sudden, like, Unc said he got me like $1.6 million. I guess I got to go to Clemson.
You're so right. You're so right about that. The big news that's happened here, probably in the last week here in Seattle, that's going to get even bigger next week. The NBA, it feels like we're really now some momentum going. They're going to take a vote next week, I guess, to take another vote. But again, they're going to take a vote next week, which is significant for people to understand, because the vote they're going to take next week in New York City is not just, hey, we're going to open up expansion. It's that we're going to open up serious expansion talks for 2 cities, just for 2, no more, just 2. That being Seattle, Las Vegas. Jerry, you're connected to the NBA. You talk to a lot of people that are around the league still. What's the word? What's the feeling of how quickly this happens, right? They've targeted 28, 29 for it to go. It seems like pretty rubber stamp, but I know you and I have talked before previously, probably with Gary Washburn, almost maybe a year ago, that, there's going to be some people that are going to stand in the way of this. Who could that be? And I guess my follow-up would be, how excited should Seattle sports fans be about the announcement of what the NBA made this week?
Well, I think, Puck, after 18 years, we're going to have some level of guarded optimism or just pessimism, right? Like we're not going to go bananas until it's official. But I do believe what's different in this one is that Seattle is back in the system, right? Like procedurally, this is the way you access a team again, right? Like, and you think about how long, like for 18 years, we've been out of the system. I think going back and, thinking, oh, well, suing Clay Bennett to stay in the lease, that might allow us to subvert what the NBA wanted to do, keep him in the lease. Maybe we can force him to sell, bleed him dry, force him to sell in a couple years, and we get to keep the team. Well, guess what? That wasn't the way it was going to go, right? Like the system is too powerful. Chris Hansen, agreeing, to buy the Kings from the Maloofs, and probably doing that in too honest and transparent of a way. I'm buying this thing to move them. And David Stern, I don't want this on my legacy, basically, like at the end of his run as commissioner. And he actively puts together a deal that blocks that. Another case where Seattle was out of the system, like trying to get in, that procedurally it wasn't going to go that way. This time there's permission. Right? Like this time it is, Adam Silver very clearly, Puck, wants to do this. He has to get 23 owners on board with it. Who is going to be an obstacle? James Dolan, because he's always an obstacle. And I don't know that James Dolan is anti-expansion as much as he's just anti-Adam Silver and the way that the league is doing business. But I don't think that, Dolan he's not like Jerry Jones in the NFL. You don't have a bunch of allies. I think people are like, you're just a grumpy old man. I do think that some of the newer base of owners, understand like where the NBA is going and really grasp this concept of like, it's nice to be able to split all this money 30 ways. But if you look 10, 15 years down the road, splitting it 32 ways will be fine if we're in the right markets. I don't think that from a Seattle standpoint, there's going to be that big of an issue. And I've told you this before, and it still bothers me that it's got to be bundled in with Las Vegas. And I just wonder, you hear the news last night, I think LeBron finally realized, like, how much does an NBA team cost?
Did I hear $10 billion? I'm out.
He's like, I got money, but I ain't got money like that. I just, until Vegas, a legitimate Vegas ownership group emerges, or like traces of an ownership group emerges, I just worry about them holding up the process here. Seattle is ready to go. And I hope in these negotiations, they understand like, hey, if you guys wanted to have a team next year, we're ready to go. All we got to do is negotiate with the Kraken on the arena availability, and the Kraken owners are gonna be influential owners, right? In the Sonics. So they're ready to go. They're gonna have to get more investors in an ownership group, and it might have to be one of those big ownership groups. I hope it's not as big as like big ownership groups in the past. We've had some bad moments like that in Seattle history with gigantic ones. But there's going to have to be some more money if we're truly talking between 7 to 10 billion. And so to me, that says like the closer they can get to 8 is probably the sweet spot where they stop trying to bleed people. But like, there's none of that on the Vegas end. That's my concern.
Yeah.
And Vegas it always seems everything. Like when you think about the A's and other stuff, it's like, oh, it's going to happen. We're Vegas. And it's like, well, first of all, you guys aren't that great of a market. And I'm not sure that the NBA, is going to be that successful, in Las Vegas long term. But here you've got like, I could look at Seattle today without knowing what the roster is.
Right.
And you say, where would Seattle rank just off the top of your head? Like in these, I would say, upper half of the NBA without even knowing anything. That's a testament to the kind of like the state of like the league, which is not in a great place in terms of competitive balance.
Right.
But it's also just a statement of, how much of a great NBA market Seattle is and how much greater of an NBA market Seattle is going to be when the team comes back.
It started off about, it's understandable how people won't overreact to the news. So if you're like me, though, do you think overreacting was looking already at the 2028 mock draft? Because it's already out. They already have, I think, a top 15 people that will be available.
I've already taken a peek.
I've already looked at the free agent class. Kevin Durant.
39-year-old Kevin Durant.
39-year-old Kevin. You know who else is a free 33-year-old horse owner and trainer? The Joker.
Where's his body going to be at that point, though?
He'll be ruined, but give me
a bunch of old heads for 1 year. That would be fun.
Give me Sabonis walking out, at the Blazers. Give me Jokic for one more year. I think Durant, I would put a lot of money that Kevin Durant is going to stick around for 2 more years.
Oh, I mean, Kevin Durant will play as long as he can.
One last year in Seattle. I watched him last night playing the Lakers. He doesn't look like he's slowing down. He looks phenomenal.
He'll do that, and then he'll get a piece of the ownership pie after he retires.
And I want here you heard it here first. I want Jamal Crawford to be the first Sonics head coach. If he wants
Sonics head coach. The question is, does he want to coach?
Yeah, I don't know. He's doing high school now, but that's a big jump. But
I'm gonna give you a couple other things, Puck. And this might be a good indicator of like, on the inside, like how strong Seattle, how done of a deal this might be. Masai Ujiri, who obviously like went to high school in Seattle. He left Toronto. He's kind of taken a gap year. There are other teams in the league that are interested in him. If Masai does not take a job, I'm wondering if like the ownership group has already guaranteed him, hey, come on back to Seattle and start this thing. And I remember like Chris Hansen's thought was Phil Jackson, right? Remember all that?
Well, Phil Jackson leak it on like the Tonight Show or something?
Yeah, like that probably would have been a disaster, but at least it would have had like something that was really interesting.
Credible. You have a voice, right? A face.
Other than Sam Presti, Masai Ujiri is the best GM in basketball, and he knows where basketball is headed. I would try to do a deal, a la like what the Kraken did, and like get that thing cemented as soon as you feel like you got a franchise. It costs you a lot of money, but you're throwing around a lot of money already anyway. And I think the most valuable thing you can have in the NBA now that you don't have to pay against the cap for is a quality GM.
Yeah.
So he could be the face of the whole operation. I'll give you one more little Masai thing.
Can I give you an issue though with him?
Okay.
Every man is going to face a divorce from their wife. Because once the wives see him, it's over. It's over.
He's Mr. Charisma.
It's just over.
I covered a playoff series once between the Wizards and the Raptors, and there was some kind of like tragedy that had happened in Toronto, like just somebody like rammed their car into, in the city and hit someone or something. And Masai actually like spoke on behalf of the whole city, like, to the media. He was just like the representative of the strength, of the Raptors, of Toronto. And like, I just like came in that day and like turned on the television, straight from the airport. And there's Masai talking as if he's the mayor. And I'll never forget, like, the reporter, like, the female reporter hugged him afterwards and was like, thank you so much for like consoling our city. And it's just like, but he's got that kind of energy.
He's very presidential. That's how he kind of carries himself.
Yes. He's got super charisma. Wow. He will cuss, in public rallies. Like, he's just like an incredible human being. And we could get that one done. Like, that would do a couple things. It would give you a face. Before you actually have faces of the franchise. It would give you somebody who's guaranteed to build a winning team. And that would just be unbelievable. If they did that, I would lead the damn parade, after his press conference.
He was born in England, Nigerian descent. He moved to Seattle to pursue his dream of playing basketball, moved in with a Nigerian family, ended up playing at Nathan Hale. So he was like before the Porters.
Yes.
He was a Raider at Nathan Hale. He then goes on, I think it's to Bismarck State, spends a couple of years there, and then finishes at Montana State to play there for the Bobcats. So that'd be an interesting name. All right. File that one away. You heard it here first. With the great Jerry Brewer. Well, this was great. Great to catch up with you. You look great. You sound great. The writing's great. Family's probably great. So congratulations on everything that has come your way, Jerry. Appreciate it very much for stopping on by today.
All right. Appreciate you, brother.
If it's fun you desire, it's fun you're going to get at Flat Stick Pub. It doesn't matter what the occasion is, whether it's date night, guys night, ladies night, or large group event, Flat Stick Pub's got you covered. They have 6 great locations across the Pacific Northwest, from Pioneer Square to Kirkland, South Lake Union, Spokane, Bellingham, and Redmond. All locations offer the best pub experience in Washington. 2 rules at Flat Stick Pub: drink local and have fun. Pretty simple. So if you like to have fun, love local beer, and great tasting food, make Flat Stick Pub your next spot. Visit them at flatstickpub.com. You know what I'm going to say is, God bless you people that are actually watching and listening to this today on the greatest day in sports, one of them. But there are many of you that are watching and listening. I thank you, because I'm just going to let you know the dirty little secret. If I would not, you probably have both on watching. We're off to a great start here on Thursday. Tear up my bracket already. It's all over. It's terrible. Fun show today here on a Thursday. Big thanks again to Everett Fitzhugh. Another edition of KJ-Arent with Mitch Levy. And again, once the live show is over, only place to watch and listen to the full show is if you're a Pucks Posse member, pucksports.com. Also, thanks there to Jerry Brewer. Great to catch up with Jerry. Great to hear his perspective on the NBA and the fact that all signs are pointing towards that this is happening again. It will happen. Now, whether or not Vegas can get their stuff in order, we shall see. And then I like that little nugget there at the end there about the former president of the Toronto Raptors and having a connection to Seattle. I did not know that. I forgot about that, if I remember it. Played at Nathan Hale, went to Nathan Hale. And in fact, I was there for a gymnastics meet a few months ago, and I actually saw his picture up there. So I was like, oh, that's weird. But would be a great addition. Did great things there in Toronto, and it would be wise for the new ownership group, whoever it is, to strike first before anybody else can snag him up. All right, let's get to on this day, Thursday, March 19th. On this day, of course, brought to you by Hive Social, the official social meetup app of Puck Sports. You can be part of the Pucks Posse group on Hive Social. Easiest way to learn about upcoming events and discover and find new connections and groups. there on Hive Social. That is HYV Social, downloaded Google Play and iOS today. All right, on this day, March 19th. It's a very big day because there's a real cool story that happened on this day. Speaking of basketball, by the way, the Dons in the news today on March 19th. The University of San Francisco, once a great basketball program. I mean, again, they're okay now, but they were dominant back in the day. They defeated LaSalle on this day in 1955 to win the NCAA championship 77-63. I'm sure you know who they were led by. They were led by the tournament's MVP, who, of course, went on to star for the Boston Celtics and win, was it 9 championships with the Celtics? Ended up relocating. He was a coach of the Sonics, lived on Mercer Island, and I think lived until his death. The great Bill Russell was the tournament's MVP in 1955, leading the Dons to a championship, again, over LaSalle, 77-63. All right, also on this day on March 19th, ladies and gentlemen, a huge sports day. Huge sports day in 1995. You ask yourself, why? Well, the greatest player of all time in the history of the National Basketball Association returns.
The following is a presentation of NBC Sports.
The word retire means you can do anything you want from this day on. So if I desire to come back and play again, maybe that's what I want to do. Maybe that's the challenge that I may need someday down the road.
And that day has arrived. Michael Jordan warming up at Market Square Arena more than 3 hours before today's scheduled tip-off. 21 months have passed since Michael Jordan last played competitive basketball. For 21 months, the NBA was without its supreme artist. There may be many interesting peripheral aspects to both his departure and return, but at the heart of it is simply this: the best in the world is back. And in a sports world darkened by constant talk of money, strikes, and lockouts, here's a shining reminder of why we're drawn to sports in the first place. The drama, the anticipation, the sheer beauty of the moment. Today, an artist returns to his true canvas, the hardboard courts of the NBA. Michael Jordan is back. Hi, everybody. I'm Bob Costas. What Michael Jordan does today and what he will attempt to do in the next several months and maybe years is truly unprecedented. It's never happened in team sports. Muhammad Ali, not in a team sport, left, regained the heavyweight championship when he came back. But in team sports, guys like Jim Brown, who left at the peak, or Sandy Koufax, whose arm wouldn't allow him to continue, they never came back. Today, Michael Jordan, at age 32, tries to accomplish what no one else truly has in team sports history.
But I remember that. I think if you're my age, you can remember that back in the day when he returned. It was just the greatest gift ever. I remember he had sent a text, I think, was it Ahmad Rashad, I believe. I can't remember who the reporter was, and said just, or maybe it was to Sports Illustrated. It was a news outlet. He just said, "I'm back." And that was, he took out a page, I think an ad in the paper too, just said, "I'm back." He returned, and it was great. It was just phenomenal. It was like Christmas. It was like Christmas all over again there in the NBA. He returned after being away, as Bob Costas, the great Bob Costas, said there, after 21 months. Returned against the Indiana Pacers, wearing number 45. That was his high school number that he wore. The Bulls would end up losing in overtime. It was a highly competitive game. He wasn't doing anything, by the way. I mean, he was still in good shape, but not basketball shape. 103-96. He would score 19 points. He took 28 shots. He looked tired and still put up a lot of shots. Played 43 minutes, by the way. They would go on that year in the playoffs to lose in the Eastern Conference semifinals. They would lose to the Orlando Magic. Shaq and Penny Hardaway in that group, who would go on to play in the finals against the Houston Rockets. The following year, though, whole offseason, regroups, mindset, he's in basketball shape. They win the first of 3 straight NBA championships, giving the Bulls a total of 6 during that run with Jordan. And had he not left, would have been 9 straight, because no one was beating that basketball team. All of that happening on this day, March 19th. And, of course, on this day, brought to you by Hive Social, the official social meetup app there for Puck Sports. We wrap up the show here on a Thursday with Hey, What the Puck, brought to you by Tersuli Construction. From emergency response to full-scale rebuilds and remodels, Tersuli Construction, full-service contractor handling your project from start to finish, locally owned and operated out of Ballard, proudly serving the Puget Sound region for over 15 years. If you're dealing with damage or planning what's next, call the team that does it all. Tersuli Construction, restoring what matters, building what's next. Give them a call, 206-793-3744. Visit them at tersuli.com. You heard Mitch say there in our appearance there in KJ-Arent, wasn't all that excited about the WBC, and I'm sure there was others that were not excited about it. I was. It was fun to watch baseball. It was fun to watch Team USA, but it was more fun to watch the other countries, because the more other countries got into it way more. It's just part of their DNA, the passion of them and passion of the fan base and the players themselves. How do you get U.S. players more involved? I don't know. Bribe them with money, probably. I have zero clue how you get more buy-in from the U.S. players. More buy-in, especially not the position players, because you had the greatest position players there. You didn't have the greatest pitchers. And the greatest pitchers, if it's going to be in the beginning like this, probably aren't going to play. If you have it in the middle of the year, which there's been some talk to replace the All-Star game, perhaps. I love the NBA or the baseball All-Star game. So I'll be honest with you, I don't want it to be replaced. I love it. It's great. It's fun, and it's perfect, and they do the best job of anyone. I think you got to keep it. I think it's perfect where it's at right now. You just have to get the American pitchers to buy in. And the thing is about, well, they don't want to get hurt. These guys are throwing all winter, by the way. They just don't come to camp going, well, let's ramp it up now. I mean, they've been throwing and working out. But I also understand the worry with it. I think you can get more of them to buy on, and then you'd have more of a pool of pitchers to have, good ones, really good ones, like the elite of the elite, and still be able to adhere to the wishes there of the said franchises, because ultimately you do want to protect them. But I don't know. You need more buy-in from the star pitchers. That's Hey, What the Puck, brought to you by Tersuli Construction, restoring what matters, building what's next. Give them a call, 206-793-3744. Visit them at tersuli.com. I'm amazed there was one of you watching and listening today. Thank you. Hat tip to you. You get the MVP star of the day. Thanks for everyone for watching and listening. All of our sponsors, as always, Limbeck Lumber, Flat Stick Pub. Go check out Flat Stick Pub. They've got specials going on right now, all during March Madness. Also next week, the Flat Stick Pub location at Pioneer Square. It is now kid-friendly, so you can take your kids there before a Mariners game. Also, big thanks to Georgetown Brewery, Hive Social, and Tersuli Construction. You can find today's Daily Puck Drop up on YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button. Leave a comment. We'll get to as many as we possibly can. Also, find the Daily Puck Drop on your favorite podcast platforms, Apple and Spotify. And, of course, everything up at pucksports.com. We give you bonus shows throughout the week. The Sports Pit with Matt Stretch Johnson. Inside Pitch with Ryan Divish. Also, KJ-Arent with Mitch Levy. And we now produce the Graz with Gas Take 5 podcast. New episodes every single Monday. Appreciate the support. We'll see you tomorrow as we conclude another week and wrap it up next week for the start of the baseball season. We'll see you tomorrow. As always, promise to be back.
No shirt, no shoes, no ties.
Would anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah. I was born to love. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you. But you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for? We like to send out anyway.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!